Right now, as you watch this, your brain is losing a war you don't even know you're fighting. Scientists just pinpointed the exact moment willpower collapses down to the millisecond, and the number that came back should terrify you. The average person hits their limit by 2 p.m., not because they're lazy, not because they lack discipline, because of something happening deep inside the brain that you were never warned about. So, here's the question that should be keeping you up at night. What if every failure in your life, every broken promise, every missed goal, every mittix you said tomorrow wasn't your fault? What if your brain was literally set up to betray you? By the end of this video, you will know exactly when your willpower breaks, why it breaks, and what the top performers in the world do differently. So, this isn't motivational fluff. This is neuroscience, and it changes everything. But first, you need to understand what's really being stolen from you every single day. The truth they never told you. You've been told willpower is a character trait, that some people have it and some don't. That the key is motivation, discipline, grit, hustle harder, wake up earlier, push through the pain. That is a lie. Not an exaggeration, not a simplification, a genuine, well-documented lie. One that has cost millions of people years of their lives chasing a version of discipline that their brain was never built to sustain. Here's what the research actually shows. In 2023, a landmark study from Stanford's Center for Cognitive Neuroscience confirmed something scientists had suspected. For 2 decades, willpower is not infinite. It is not a mindset. It is a biological resource, like blood sugar, like oxygen, and your brain consumes it at an alarming rate every single hour you're awake. The technical term is ego depletion, but that name doesn't capture the horror of what's actually happening. Picture your willpower as a fuel tank. Every decision you make, every email you respond to, every snack you resist, every time you choose the salad over the fries, every meeting you sit through while pretending to care. It burns fuel, invisible, silent, undetectable, until the tank is empty. And here's the part that will genuinely disturb you. You cannot feel it happening. That's not a bug. That's a design feature. The brain is extraordinarily good at masking its own depletion. You won't feel your willpower draining. You'll purse. Just notice too late that you're suddenly angry at things that didn't bother you this morning. That you just ate half a bag of chips without deciding to. That you said yes to something you absolutely should have said no to. Research from the University of Toronto found that judges, educated, trained, experienced professionals gave harsher, less rational sentencing decisions as the day went on. Not because they were bad people, because their decision-making fuel was running out. The same phenomenon has been documented in surgeons, executives, teachers, and parents. You are not exempt, and it gets worse, because it's not just about making bad decisions. When your willpower resource bottoms out your prefrontal cortex, the rational, forward-thinking part of your brain essentially goes offline. What takes your limbic system, the ancient, impulsive, emotionally reactive part of your brain that doesn't care about your goals, your health, or your future. It only cares about right now. That's the moment. That's the exact moment. Neuroscientists have been hunting for the switch, the point of no return, when the higher brain hands control to the lower brain, and everything you've been trying to build begins to unravel. You don't fall off the build wagon. Your brain throws you off. And here's where it gets really dark. Your brain wasn't built for the modern world, full stop. 200,000 years of human evolution designed your brain to handle maybe a dozen meaningful decisions per day. Eat this or don't eat this. Run from that or don't. And fight it. Sleep now or stay alert. Simple, binary, survivable. But today, research from Columbia University estimates the average American adult makes over 35,000 decisions every single day. 35,000. From what to wear, to what to eat, to which notification to respond to whether that email needs a reply now or later, to what your facial expression should be during a Zoom call with your boss. Picture this happening inside your skull right now. Every single one of those choices, no matter how small, passes through your prefrontal cortex, the command center, the CEO of your brain, and every time it fires, it uses a neurochemical called glucose, the literal fuel of conscious thought, willpower, focus, rational, decision-making. They all run on the same tank. And your brain, brilliant as it is, cannot tell the difference between a life or death decision and choosing a font for a PowerPoint slide. It spends the same neurochemical currency, EIT, her way. Your prefrontal cortex, the part that controls every decision you make, is under attack. Not by enemies, by the sheer volume of modern life, by notifications and calendars and to-do lists and social media and open floor plans and 24-hour news cycles. Every one of these things is a drain. Every one of them costs you something. You can't see losing until it's gone. Here is where it becomes even more unsettling. A groundbreaking study from the University of Minnesota showed that when people were forced to make more decisions, they dramatically increased impulsive behavior. Afterward, not because they wanted to be impulsive, but because the rational brain that was supposed to stop them had burned through its fuel. Your brain, deprived of willpower, fuel doesn't shut down, it shifts. It hands the wheel to a system with completely different priorities, immediate reward, emotional discharge, and the path of least resistance. This is why the person who eats perfectly all day raids the kitchen at 10 p.m., why the exec who handles a brutal board meeting comes home and picks a fight over something meaningless, why the student who studied for hours suddenly can't resist their phone. This isn't weakness. This is neuroscience. And the cruelest part, society punishes you for it. Culture tells you that you failed because you didn't want it badly enough, that you need more. The very thing your brain just consumed to get through the day. The advice is to try harder with the tool that's already broken. Therese, even new research from MIT, suggesting that the more you rely on willpower alone as your primary system for behavior change, the worse your long-term outcomes become. Because willpower depletion isn't just a daily problem. It's cumulative, chronic stress, poor sleep, and constant decision overload. Permanently lower your baseline over time, so your brain is running on less and less fuel, and nobody told you why. So if your brain is already this wired against you, what can actually change it? That answer is both simpler and more surprising than anything you've say. RD before Harris, what the top one of performers figured out that nobody talks about. They don't have more willpower than you. They've engineered their lives, so they need less of it. That's the secret. It's not about grinding harder on a depleted tank. It's about understanding the fuel system and building an environment where the tank barely gets touched. Step 1. Decide before you're depleted. The most successful people on earth front-load their hardest decisions. They make the sittings waith, the critical choices, what to eat, what to work on, what to say no to, before 10 a.m., not because mornings are magical, because the neurochemical tank is full. Research from Duke University. Almost entirely when a behavior becomes automatic, it stops costing willpower. Discipline, it's automation. Design your morning routine so that you don't have to decide, you just execute. Step 2. Reduce decision, load ruthlessly. Mark Zuckerberg wears the same outfit every one. Barack Obama did too. This isn't eccentricity, it's neuroscience. Every decision you eliminate from your environment is willpower. You preserve for what actually matters. Simplify your wardrobe, meal prep. Use templates for repeated emails. Create defaults. Stop treating every other choice as if it deserves your full cognitive resources. Most don't. Step 3. Strategic. Recovery. Windows. Your brain can partially replenish its willpower reserves, but only under the light conditions. A 2020 study from the University of Michigan found that even 10 minutes of genuine rest, not scrolling, not consuming content, just allowing these mind to wander, meaningfully restored executive function. Not perfectly, not fully, but enough to matter. Build 2 or 3 of these windows into your day, like they're meetings you cannot cancel, because they're more important than most meetings you'll ever attend. Step 4. Use implementation intentions. This sounds like productivity speak. It's not. It's one of the most replicated findings in behavioral psychology. An implementation intention is simply a pre-made decision. When X happens, I will do Y. When I feel the urge to scroll, I will drink a glass of water. When my energy crashes at 3 p.m., I will take a 10-minute walk. Research shows this type of pre-commitment reduces willpower consumption by up to 50, because your brain no longer has to weigh the decision in the moment. It's already made. Step 5. Fix 2. Foundation. None of this works if your neurochemical baseline is destroyed. Sleep deprivation alone reduces prefrontal cortex function by up to 30 times. Poor nutrition starves the brain of glucose before the day even starts. Chronic stress literally shrinks the prefrontal cortex. Cortex over time, confirmed by Harvard Medical School studies on cortisol and brain structure. You cannot out-discipline a broken foundation. Sleep, eat, and manage stress, not as luxury habits, but as the infrastructure everything else depends on. You now have 5 levers that work with your neuroscience instead of fighting against it. But doing all of this means nothing unless you understand the one final piece most people never even hear about. Here is the final truth. The one the self-help industry has been avoiding because it's not a product you can sell. Identity beats willpower every time. The research is clear. James Clear built an empire explaining it. But neuroscience goes even deeper. When a behavior aligns with how you see yourself with your identity, your brain doesn't treat it as a decision that needs to be powered through. It treats it as an expression of who you are. And expressions of identity don't deplete willpower, they reinforce it. The person who never skips a workout doesn't do it because they love pain. They do it because they see themselves as someone who works out. The person who resists the binge isn't fighting cravings with brute force. They've changed the story they tell in themselves at the neurological level. Here's what that means for you. Every time you say, "I'm trying to exercise more," you are starting from 0. Every time you say, "I am someone who moves their body every day," your brain begins to encode that as identity. And identity is processed differently than intention. It doesn't live in the prefrontal cortex. It lives deeper in the self-concept structures that are far more resistant to depletion. This brings us full circle. Remember where we started. The tank running dry by 2 p.m., the judges giving harsher sentences, the person raiding the kitchen at midnight. All of that, every single story in this video, is the result of one thing, a system relying on willpower that was never designed to carry that load alone. You are not broken. Your brain was just never shown the right path. The path isn't harder. It's different. It's environmental design, strategic timing, decision. Strategic timing, decision, engines, and at the deepest level, identity, start with one thing. Then, just one. Today, not tomorrow. Pick the smallest possible version of the behavior you want, and tell yourself, this is who I am now. Because the science says, once your brain believes it, the fuel required drops dramatically, and everything becomes easier. You now know what neuroscientists took decades to discover.